Welcome, everybody, to For Better or Worse. I am Nick. I'm joined by my co-host, Matt, and welcome to episode 2. Matt, you excited to be here?
I'm pumped. Absolutely pumped. I mean, someone, I'm not going to name names, did not hit the one leg of the two-legger, but we're going back at it for round 2. Hopefully, for my sake, I hit this one. But, it's a new day, new chance, new games, new slate. We're going to get after it. Thank you for everyone who tuned in for the first episode. Hopefully you guys stick around for this one. Keep liking, sharing, subscribing, following, all that. It helps us out. Lets us know you guys like our content. And hopefully you guys take something out of this podcast to help you for better or worse.
Oh, my God. Again. Is this going to be every episode?
Episode 100 is going to be the same thing.
Okay. Nope. Fair enough. Fair enough. And we won't go into that missed opportunity on that. Like, honestly, some people, we can backtrack on it. Some people actually came out pretty lucky because I bet the spread. I got screwed. No big deal. But okay. But some people got the void out of it, depending on how you bet it, which is
they actually technically won because they got pushed one side. They got a poor payout. But either way, it hit. Not a total bad thing. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't get a payout, so a poor payout would be fine. In my mind. Yeah, plenty of stuff to talk about. NBA playoffs is obviously going to be the main thing overall. I had some great games last night, and we have some games coming up today as well. And then we'll do a couple late game MLB slate, and then, of course, our two-legger to finish up the show. But our first segment is going to be a buy or sell segment. So, obviously, it's pretty self-explanatory. Either buy or sell a team on how they're doing and what you think they're going to do in the future. Starting right off with the Celtics, up 2-0 overall. Matt, what are your thoughts on the Celtics? Buy or sell?
This is tough because I feel like there's so many teams I want to buy, but so the way I look at this, right, is like, if I buy this team, do I think they can make the NBA Finals? Do I think they can make it out of the Eastern Conference, or if we go to the Western Conference, But I will say, I mean, these two games, this could easily be the Nets up 2-0. A couple of different bounces, a couple of different calls. I think it could easily be the other way with the total flip. That being said, I think you have to buy the Celtics. Beating the Nets, shutting down KD and Kyrie to an extent in that game yesterday. I think you have to buy them. I mean, they have a really tough road because they could probably have to play the Nets, then the Bucks or the Bulls, and then probably the Sixers or like the Heat is like the way this is going. And that's such a tough road to get to the finals, in my opinion. But I mean, I want to say sell so bad, but I think you have to buy them. I mean, you have to think these guys can make it. They're a deep team. They have some young talent, I wouldn't even call Jason Tatum like a young talent. He's been in the playoffs before. He's young, but he's almost a playoff veteran at this point. Just being there multiple years. So I'm going to go with buy. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, look, I have them coming out of the Eastern Conference out of last week, losing to the Suns, which, at this point, we can get to that later, but I don't know, with Booker and everything like that, that worries me a little bit. But obviously, luckily, that's only the first round, and hopefully they can overcome. But Celtics overall, they do have the Defensive Player of the Year, Marcus Smart. They're really deep, honestly. I mean, when you got like Derek White and some of these other players coming off the bench, they're okay, but they're decent role players. I just think they're a really deep team, and if they can get possibly like Robert Williams back later, I don't know about that, but I love him as a team. I love Tatum, really. I think there's so much talent there. As far as betting, no. I went back to Marcus Smart last night. I got screwed over. He went 1 from 6 from 3, and I made this early in the year. I said no, absolutely all Celtics players are banned because of the team they have. It's just like pick your poison. One guy can pick up the slack. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart, Robert Williams. I mean, there's just Al Horford. There's talent everywhere. So it really just depends on, who wants to go off, good matchups, what they're giving you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm
I agree.
buying overall. I think they're a great team, and I think they can go far. But they are going up against the Knicks, and that's who we have next up. Down 2-0. Obviously a very talented team. Not the deepest, but they have the top tier talent overall. The real question is, in my mind, is Ben Simmons coming back? Um,
I heard game 4 is like his projected spot, but if he comes back game 4 and they're down 3-0, like what does that even matter at that point? It's a must-win
that's
spot for the Nets.
that's the question. The other question is, how many cats are we going to see over under in this episode? Right now,
Over
it's
2.5.
looking hot. Yeah, it's looking hot. These things are animals, obviously. Get out of here. Come on.
Yeah, but going for the Nets, buy or sell the Nets. Again, this could go either way because they could be up 2-0. I think my over under 2.5 is going to hit before the end of this podcast. But buy
yeah.
or sell the Nets. I want to buy them so bad. Even if they get Ben Simmons back and it works, I will buy them to the moon and back. I'm a big Ben Simmons fan. You don't need to score the basketball to be a good basketball player. Clip that, put that for everyone and their mother to see on the internet because some people are just, I don't get it. They don't understand that side of basketball. But if they don't and the chemistry is a little weird, I mean, this team is not deep enough. So he doesn't play. I don't think they can make it. They may be able to squeeze out this series, but then what? You're going to play Giannis and the Bucks and Brooke Lopez, Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton. Yeah. And it's just going to be like way too much for you. I mean, even Bobby Portis, like think about like the Bucks 6th best player versus the Nets 6th best player. It's just like the talent gap is just so big. And then if you do squeeze by the Bucks, you're going to probably have to play the Sixers. And that's good.
Yeah.
That's my dream matchup if Harden and Simmons are both healthy. But I don't think they're going to get there. I'm going to be selling the Nets, sadly. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, it really, I think it comes down to this series and what Ben Simmons, when he comes out and how he performs overall. Cause, he's been practicing. It's taking absolutely forever. I mean, at one point he wasn't playing until next year. And then now he's, maybe late playoffs, and now it's the first round, and now it's game 4. It's just, until I see him on the court, I'll believe it. Obviously we're getting more positive news overall, and, I think he'll play late on, but I mean, I don't know. This team it's real confusing, and it's not an easy road at all. Like you said, with all those teams coming out of the East, it is going to be hard. And I know you mentioned one of the other teams already, the 76ers, up 3-0 in the first round. I mean, Joel Embiid with a crazy game winner. Awesome overall in OT. Thoughts on buying or selling them? I mean, at least for round 1, I think we can buy. But
yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have a little sidebar here. JJ Redick mentioned this on ESPN. He was like, they're talking about Bob Cousy versus somebody else, and
Chris
he was
Paul.
like, "What?"
It was Chris Paul.
It was Chris Paul versus Bob Cousy. And they're like,
Yeah.
It was like Bob Cousy played against firemen and plumbers. And you know what? There are hills to die on. I will gladly spend the rest of my life and die on this hill. It's the fact that Michael Jordan and everyone before him played against carpenters, plumbers, not to knock that profession, but to say that they were the best basketball players or the best basketball era ever. I get it. There was hand checking, but they couldn't even slide their feet and play defense, nor could centers shoot or point guards score. It was such a one-dimensional league. And Michael Jordan, you're the second best basketball player of all time. Not too shabby. I get it. But do you see how we evolved in the game of basketball? I mean, look what happened last night. Joel Embiid, 7-foot center, shot a turnaround fadeaway 3 in overtime in a playoff game. If that happens in the 70s and 80s, they're going to stone him for witchcraft. He's going to literally get stoned in the local village because that is absurd. The fact that we've evolved that far just shows I'm scared for the next 20 years of what the hell is going to happen with these talent players. I mean, LeBron's going to be almost like an afterthought because you're going to have 25 Giannis's in the league, and it's going to make no sense. Like, good luck being 6'4" and even trying to get in the league at any point. We've evolved so much. So I'm fully buying the 76ers to make the NBA, maybe not the NBA finals, but the Eastern Conference finals. I'm fully buying them. I mean, as a team, if you have that guy on your team, who are you losing to besides a Giannis, another, superstar freak athlete? It's almost impossible. That's my sidebar. Plumbers, carpenters, firemen all played. I don't want to see any 40-year-old NBA fans in my DMs after this episode.
No, you're getting them.
Your favorite superhero died, and I get it. It's like there's another superhero that's better. It's okay. 20 years from now, my kids will be telling me that LeBron is blah, blah, blah. It's just the way it evolves. That's my sidebar.
I'm okay. Well, it's a little hot over here after that take, but yeah, I agree with you partially. I'm not going to go that far as I would go.
I agree with you. Thank you.
But yeah, yeah, okay. Take it how you want. I don't know if I'd go back a little bit further to say that, but I get your point. I don't know about the 90s and everything. I'm thinking 60s, 70s, 80s,
there
maybe.
Were still some plumbers hanging around the league in the 90s.
Oh yeah,
but I get your point.
No, yeah. But yeah. All right. Getting on from that, no worries. I mean, like I had the 76ers going to the Eastern Conference. I think it's up to them or the Celtics. Obviously, the Celtics Bucks, that's going to be a huge series as well. I mean, if they can continue to get to the line, which Harden and Embiid do, shoot well, Maxey, continues to have a great role playing position. I mean, you still have Milton and a bunch of other people as well. It's a good, complete team in my mind. I mean, I'm buying them overall as far as getting all the way to, the finals. They do have the talent, but the East is not going to be an easy, trip for anybody. It's really, I see some great series coming up and already happening with the Celtics Nets. But yeah, I mean, you have so much talent in the East to worry about. And speaking of that, we have the Bucks series tied with the Bulls 1-1. I have a lot of, so I talked to a lot of Bulls fans. So in my mind, this wasn't that surprising because they've been trying to brainwash me slowly, subconsciously. But yeah, they pulled it out. DeRozan looked like his MVP self mid-year. What was it, 37 or something like that? I don't have it in front of me.
I know he had 37. I don't know what he finished with, but
yeah. And I actually put out I did a little personal bet in the third quarter, under 33.5 points for Giannis. It was the sweatiest thing ever. He ended with 33. It only put like 30 bucks on
33, 18, and 9.
Wow. Yeah. He turned on the rebounds
41, by the way.
41. Oh yeah.
Nope,
yeah.
0 threes.
Yeah, of course. He's doing mid-range all day. But yeah, I mean, as far as the Bucks, I do like them overall. Buying long term, I don't know. I don't believe so. Especially that now that Middleton, as of this morning, he had a diagnosed sprained MCL. Don't know if you saw that news. So that's a big blow overall. Can Giannis carry the load? Middleton's so he's good. He really is good. But I feel like sometimes he's either just completely hot or completely cold.
Yeah.
But long term, I don't. With that Middleton injury, I'd have to say long term sell on that one. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I had them winning, with Middleton healthy, obviously in mind. I still think this is a good test for Giannis, to where I think he could do it. But I bet that he could, maybe not. But I wouldn't be surprised if Giannis just went God mode and did this, just because how deep the team is. If this is like the Nets, right, and Kyrie went down, I'd say absolutely not. But this team is still deep enough to where I think they can do it. But the chances, obviously, without Middleton are definitely worse. I still want to say bye, just because I think they could still make it to the Eastern Conference Finals without Chris Middleton. But then again, when you play a team like the Sixers, or if you go to the finals and you play a team like the Suns or the Warriors, you're going to need to be fully manned. So it's going to be tough. I'm going to still say bye, and we'll revisit this after the first few games with Middleton out. And I think we'll go that way. As of right now, there's still a bye for me.
Yeah, and we don't know how serious that long-term that injury is and how long you have to sit out. What grade sprain it is. So that's really going to play a role in it as well. But getting on to the NBA slate for today, I know first up we have the Grizzlies versus the T-Wolves. Series is 1-1 overall. I mean, yeah. So Ja came back. He tried to have a triple-double. Did he get it? I don't even know. Did he have I believe the rebounds was the question there. From remembering
for you.
I honestly don't. All I remember is being pissed off at the points because he just stopped trying to score and tried to get the triple-double. I had the 29 and a half. He ended with
9
23
rebounds. 23,
yep,
10,
that's
and
what
9.
I thought. Yep, he tried his best. Obviously got the win. That was the most important thing as far as the team. Shut up the haters. He said stay on your side after the game. I saw that video. As far as the game itself today, I kind of do like Grizzlies -1.5. That's something I'm going to still think on.
I just want to see how was the line 7 at home in Memphis, and you're talking a 5.5 point swing just for home and road. That seems like a lot of points.
That's my thought too.
You know what I mean? Like that's I don't know. That's a weird line, Vegas. I don't know what you're trying to do. That is a very weird line. I mean, after the way the Grizzlies played, you're going to have to think that they cover 1.5. But I do love this Timberwolves team, man. I have a little personal bias just because I love Karl Anthony Towns. And I do love the team as well. But I'm still rooting for the Timberwolves. So I'm probably going to stay away from that series as a whole because I'm way too much emotions going through there. But, yeah, that's a tough game. I mean, I think you have to play the Grizzlies -1.5 as a better, just because the line you're getting. I mean, 7 last game, and I don't know. That's just my take.
Yeah, no, and that's kind of some of my reasoning behind it. That, and I'm still waiting on player props from that game. It's a little slow overall, but I did see my boy Jaren Jackson. It's a sweaty one. I'm thinking about PR. Points and rebounds under 22.5. He did clear it last game, but that man can foul out in less than 3 minutes. That's just his thing. He's been getting, somewhere between 20 and 27 minutes, depending on his foul trouble. He had 4 last game, 5 the game before. He fouls out all the time. And that's something that it's kind of got my eye, but it's just super sweaty at 22.5. Points is 15.5, but he did have a good amount of rebounds last game to where I believe that PR number's a little inflated. I'm like, it's giving me heartburn already. So, but it's probably something I'm going to go with, and we'll see a little bit later in the podcast as well. But next up, Mavs Jazz 1-1 series. Does Luka come back today? That's the real question. Waiting on a lot of these props as well. But one thing that's out there right now, Donovan Mitchell he's been playing no defense. I'll give him that. But he's been shooting the. Oh yeah, true. For a team that is known for their defense, he just wants out, I feel like, overall. But he's been putting up 29 and 30 shots in the first 2 games of the series, scoring 32 and 34. As of right now, with absolutely no Mavericks props out because of Luka news, the 29.5 points seems, kind of enticing overall. What are your thoughts on the game and the series and,
him? Former Dick of the Week, Rudy Gobert did score. He did score. Still went under his points prop for those wondering. Still Dick in my eyes. Mike Conley in the last game was 0 for 7 with a goose egg on the board. So I think they're just trying to take turns. I think everyone on that team must have watched the podcast, like traveling, I think everyone's trying to get a dick of the week. Mike Conley, you're definitely in the running. They lost by 6. He was 0 for 7. Definitely a big part of that. Donovan Mitchell, 13 for 30, 3 for 10 from deep, had 34 points. But you're going to lose when one of your players goes 0 for 7, especially a guy you rely on from beyond the arc for spacing purposes. If Luka plays, I think the Mavs take the series. I was looking it up. He said he didn't want to play limited minutes, so he wants to make sure he's 100% before he comes back, which makes me think he may not play today because it's 1-1. I think if they had lost and they were down 2-0, he would force himself to come back. Now that it's 1-1, you have a little more breathing room. I think maybe he takes another game out and, worst case scenario, you're down 2-1. You have to win, 3 out of 5. And that's a much easier task than being down 2-0. So I'm going to say he doesn't play today. Don't quote me on that. But I wouldn't even have a prop here. I think Donovan Mitchell takes a step up, especially if Luka doesn't play. You're going to want to take advantage, and he loves to shoot that damn basketball.
Yeah, got another one. You hit the over on the Cats. This one's rambunctious. So yeah, no, I mean the game overall, it's a little scary. They have slow pace. That's the one thing. So that's one thing you got to keep in mind is just the pace of the game, especially with player props. I haven't heard the Luka news. I haven't really been paying attention, honestly. I just don't like this game overall compared to all the others as far as player props and just, trying to attack the game.
Yeah.
But I do like, if true, I'm assuming I'm going to go off your word that he wants to play full minutes and not limited minutes as a better.
People call me nice. Matty Woj back in the day.
Yeah. And then we got the late game. Just to cut you off, we have the late game Warriors versus Nuggets at the Nuggets. I think we're gonna have the most popular play of the day. I can already predict it. It's gonna be the Warriors spread. I mean, it's gotta be, right. Everybody's gonna be all over that. I know you have a little bit different of opinion, right?
100%.
Another take.
100%.
Why don't you go ahead and take this over then?
Hot take, cold take, bold take, whatever you want to call it. When everyone is on the Warriors -1.5 and they're not in Oakland, when they're not at home, I'm going Nuggets -9.5. Nuggets win margin 11+. Lock it in. They're gonna blow them out the water. Jokic have a 50-piece nugget. Calling it right now. I'm just kidding. Please don't take that for take that with a grain of salt, you know what I'm saying? But I do think the Nuggets, back against the wall, they got to win this game. I mean, the price is not there. If you're a bettor and you see the betting the Nuggets money line or the spread is only +2.5, I would never suggest that. I would want a +200 or more like it was when they're on the road. But their backs are against the wall. They have to win this game. If they don't, they're basically done. You're not going to come back down from 3-0. Even LeBron came back from 3-1 when he was on the Cavs. No one comes back from 3-0. Just nobody does. It's not going to happen. So this is their last chance. If you were to play the Nuggets in any game, this has to be that game. The price sucks. I get it. But if you're going to play the Nuggets, this is the game. You don't have to play anything at all. But to me, it's a fade for me just because everyone is on the Warriors -1.5 or 2 now. I don't like being on the same side as everybody else. So I'm going to stay away, maybe find a live spot. But if you do like the Nuggets, I think today is the game.
You know what I don't like? Fading the Warriors.
Cottage cheese.
I don't like fading the Warriors. That being said, I'm not going to touch either part of this game. If anything, I might look at it like a live bet or see if any major news comes out. But I mean, I see where you're coming from. It's just they got everybody back on the Warriors. They look really good. I mean, they have so much talent. Anybody can score. Hell, if Wiggins, actually played basketball again, for maybe a game or two, it'd be really crazy. Because they just have so much talent with Poole and everything like that. But yeah, I mean, I definitely understand where you're coming from. And it's a must win. Hell, I was looking as far as so far in the series, Joker, obviously he got ejected last game. But he's been a little bit underperforming. I expect a big game out of him. If not, he still got that inflated 51.1 PRA from the season. Has been clear under with 41 and 41 the last two games. That being said, he only played 28 minutes last game. He got ejected early. But yeah, overall, I'm just staying away from the game. But I know you did like some stuff for the MLB slate, so why don't we get right into that?
Yeah, I mean,
Card.
I'll tell you right now, it's a horrible day for night game baseball, just because there's like 6 or 7 day games and there's 3 at night. You guys are going to receive this podcast later on, so I can't talk about the day games. Make sure to follow us on Twitter to possibly get some early action day games. As far as the night slate, the 2 games that really spoke to me kind of were the Cardinals and Marlins. Jordan Hicks versus Pablo Lopez. Pablo Lopez and Jordan Hicks, 2 nice young talent in the league. Pablo Lopez has pitched 5 innings in both games, allowed 0 runs. I trust him in this matchup. You have minus 125 on the money line for the Marlins. I think that's the safer bet for the game. Jordan Hicks is going to pitch 2 innings and they're going to go to the bullpen, and that's going to be the whole ordeal there. This game was 0-0 going to the 9th yesterday. I think the Cardinals took it over in the 9th, won like 2-0. I stopped watching after they scored the 2. But, I mean, this Marlins team, I don't think they score 0 again. I know they're not a great baseball team, but I don't see them scoring 0 again. And I do love Pablo Lopez. He showed me great things in his first 2 starts. Cardinals are hit or miss. It's a good matchup right here. The other day, or the other couple of days, were the best days to bet the Cardinals, in my opinion, based off the pitcher matchups. Today's not the day. I like the price in the Marlins. Again, it's kind of like the Nuggets, like I was talking about before. You want a better price. I'd rather be like a pick 'em than a minus 125. But you have to trust in baseball. It's all about the pitcher that day. So I trust the Marlins to hopefully get it done. I want to lean the first 5, but I think the full game is just as safe, even with the bullpen. So I'm gonna think that way in that game. Nick, you have anything in that game you want to talk about at all, or are you strictly NBA today?
I'm mainly NBA today, and even the NBA kind of sucks as far as overall, at least so far. I'm just waiting on props, DraftKings, FanDuel, all that. It's just they take their sweet time.
Yeah.
That being said, I mean, yeah, I see where you're coming from. Bullpen day, everything like that. I mean, hopefully it works out, and we'll see why later. But going right into that next game, Rangers at Mariners. Do you have something for that one? Because I know you mentioned that as well.
Yeah, Taylor Hearn, Marco Gonzalez. Gonzalez got blown up the first game, pitched a gem the second game. Which version of him are you going to get today? 2 teams that are still trying to prove themselves. Both of them got great offseason talent with the Rangers and the Mariners. Both teams trying to make some sort of a little push. It's a nice little series for them. I like the matchup for the Rangers at plus money more than the Mariners, but I like the Mariners team as a whole more than the Rangers. I think this matchup is a little more Rangers favorable. I think Marco Gonzalez just gets blown up by righties way too much. So if you want to look at like a Marcus Semien bases prop, Mitch Garver to get a hit was minus 155 on DraftKings. I know it's like minus 185 on FanDuel, but it's a good parlay piece. He's 2 for 3 with the home run versus Marco. And then Nick Solak, another righty. All these guys are righties. If you want to pick a righty in the Rangers lineup to attack Marco Gonzalez, that's probably be my advice to you in that game. And you can kind of pick your poison there. You may pick the wrong guy, but I'm just here to give you what I think the best options are. But that's really it. The other game does not entice me whatsoever. That's Pirates Cubs. That game will never entice me for the next 100 years, probably. But that's really the only 2 of the 3 games that we can talk about. Again, going back to the Marlins, and then I would pick a righty on the Rangers. Or if you want to sprinkle like the Rangers money line at plus money, I wouldn't go crazy on it, but I think it's a good matchup for them today.
Yeah, I mean, both these games, the teams kind of are like, like I just don't watch them that often. As far as it's early on in the season, but just overall, I have no interest in the Rangers because they kind of suck. Maybe you can find some value there overall. And then the Mariners are a West Coast team, and I'm on the East Coast, so it's just kind of hard to watch their games.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I do see some with the Simeon play. I do like that, especially at plus money. I don't think it's bad whatsoever.
Especially if he's batting leadoff, he's going to get an extra at bat, most likely too.
Yeah, that's. I was wondering about that as well. But yeah, I mean, that brings me to the question of 2-leg parlay of the day. I am undefeated so far at 1-0. Matt, what's your record?
It depends on who you ask. I could be 0-0. I could be 0-0, or I could be 0-1. It depends on who you ask.
I'm asking you. So, what's your record?
Yeah, I'm getting a phone call.
Oh, okay. No worries. So Matt has agreed to, if he messes up again, we're doing a hot one chip challenge, or what are we doing?
I don't even know. I guess we'll still wait.
I'm randomly just bringing this on him. Come on, Matt. What are we doing?
I have no idea.
I'm putting the pressure on you.
We'll let them give me more ideas.
Yeah, for Matt, I want everybody in the entire internet to give him ideas to punish him.
And I want you to know you gave me a 3-game slate to try to pick something to save my butt from too. I mean, I think Nick is conspiring against me, everybody.
I had a 3-game slate. No, it was actually 4-game. It was a 4-game. NBA was doing 4 games at the time. But,
No, I'm saying today. I have.
Oh, yeah, today. Today. Okay.
But either way.
Yeah.
Are you saying your leg, or am I going first?
Either way. So I've been back and forth. Grizzlies -1.5 and the Jaren Jackson PR. I have literally not even wrote it in yet. Thank you, Matt.
My God.
I'm gonna go with Grizzlies -1.5 just so I don't sweat as much. In a way, like I just know that Jaren Jackson PR under at 22.5 is just going to be an absolute sweat. Or it could be, if he gets 3 fouls in the first quarter, that would be amazing. But, if he actually plays the entire game, it's going to be a sweat without a doubt. So I'd rather just take the Grizz -1.5 currently at -110 on FanDuel. That's what I have. Matt, what do you got?
I'm going to go with Pablo Lopez and the Marlins money line. It's a safer play in my opinion. If we go for a basis prop on here and they walk 3 times like Vlad did yesterday, we're gonna have some upset people, especially myself. So I'm gonna go with the Marlins money line -125 on DraftKings. I just trust it more. I like the matchup. So Pablo, please come through. I need you. That's all I'm gonna say.
And the -125, is that on FanDuel, DraftKings? What are we seeing that number?
I didn't check on FanDuel yet.
Well, why don't you check that real quick? So just to be sure, we have Grizzlies -1.5 at -110.
-112 on FanDuel right now.
Look, better odds. Boom. And then we have Marlins money line
on FanDuel.
Which one is it, Matt?
Marlins.
Come on, get it together.
It was -125 on DraftKings. The -112 is the Grizzlies -1.5.
Okay.
The Marlins money line is -134. So 2 legs is +230. It's also the best time to go to the dentist. 230. Okay, you got it. Oh, you got it. That's what we're doing now.
That was the worst thing I've ever heard in my entire life, but no worries there. Guys, thank you for joining us once again. Ignore my co-host. It's been a pleasure. For better or worse, good luck today. See you tomorrow.